But James, it's not about winning, it's about having fun.
Oh, that's loud.
Yeah, it's pretty loud. I'll turn that down my end. But yeah, I know where Logan's going with that. The Angel Blur trailer that honestly makes it look more interesting than the game actually is.
It can be, but okay. So to just say about it. So I played 2 main racing games on Xbox 360. Another one was Cars. That was the third one I don't like bringing up, but it genuinely was kind of fun in its first story mode. Anyway, so this is Blur. No, I don't want to create a Bethesda.net account.
Yeah, we already had enough of that with Doom.
Skip. So Blur. Oh, this is because I'd already started up a little bit earlier as like a test recording.
I love how a freaking racing game has one of your typical anime like previously on this episode.
For some reason, I was just thinking more like soap opera, like
or soap opera, yeah.
And yeah, for some dumb reason, the upper right, just to get out there, for some dumb reason, the game does not let me input sruff, but it instead defaults the username to whatever the name of the C drive's owner is.
Right.
That is not my computer login, that's just what the drive happens to be named at. So I couldn't really change that. Again,
all the
really
hackers
silly.
all the delicious fuel.
Otherwise, you would have unapologetically renamed it Schnarf.
Well, I will say again, this game actually is not available on most systems. A friend had to share their copy with me on PC. It's no longer on Steam.
Was there a reason that got taken off?
My guess is just Activision just didn't want it. I don't know. So, Blur, to kind of come clean about what its main gimmick is that the whole point of what Blur is it's Mario Kart with real cars.
Huh.
That sounds rather inviting.
But I don't see any bananas or blue shells.
Nope, because Nintendo. So they changed up. So your equivalent of bananas or whatever, or bob-ombs, are now mines. That red attack I just used, drifting this game, is not the most fun thing to try and do.
Yeah,
I get the feeling just drifting in real life wouldn't be quite as fluid as it would be in video games anyway.
I will tell you though that the second game we're going to look at, I think the second game that we're going to look at pulls drifting off the best out of almost any game I've ever played. Even, I would say sometimes even better than Mario Kart. Anyway, I'm doing this to get extra fans.
I'll hold you to it, Logan.
But ow! So that blue thing is the best thing that they have. So let me talk about what this game doesn't get right with what they're trying to do before I talk about the positives that I do enjoy. The first big thing you're going to notice is
turning.
Turning, because the drifting isn't the best, so it really is all about the handling. Also, but don't worry, you can repair your car. There is very little rubber banding, so you're going to see me get a pretty strong lead and pretty much keep it.
You know, with how much destruction that you're putting on your car, I know it's not intentional, but I'm reminded of this one game that the Runaway guys showed off. I think it's called Burnout something, and one of the modes is based. Maybe, but basically it's supposed to be a racing game, but the mode that they spent the most time on is basically a mode where you have to cause as much destruction as you can with one drive forward.
That seems about right.
I'll have to show you the video sometime. It's actually really fun.
There we go. So your health is on a little green meter in the bottom of the windshield marker. Yeah, with no rubber banding. It's pretty easy. Ooh, shield.
Woo.
Nice. It's pretty easy to get ahead and like not ever be excited that much. Right. Nothing really exciting happens, and we should probably wait for it. Might as well get rid of that. Other bad things that can happen is that, as you're seeing, the items, they never change. That shield that I just picked up, it will always be a shield every lap. So there's no like roulette wheel.
So it's kind of like what the?
Now that was like I completely lost all momentum. The game was like, okay, let's put you back.
That flash was basically like, you know how Mario Kart you'll have Lakitu come up and put you back on track. That's basically what that is.
Gotcha. Right. But I think I know where you're going with the whole item thing. That just makes it seem like exactly. The item distribution of the game is almost exactly like the blue mechanic from
Devil Damn.
Jeez.
I'm okay.
I do this for a living, boys and girls.
Okay, I won't mention Diddy Kong anymore.
No, go ahead.
But yeah, no, the item distribution just seems pretty much exactly like the balloon thing from Diddy Kong Racing, where the balloons in that game are pretty much color coded, and whatever color you pick up is determines what item you get.
Oh.
Right, and here the items are always the same. I'll always find shields where I need to. So there's I guess you could say a little bit of strategy in that I want to drive on particular sides of the track to get the items I want. Okay, onto and other than that, the items are kind of dull and very situational. And again, when you're in first place, dang, I was one fan away from getting the bonus point.
Aww, just one fan.
And the fans are basically how you level up and unlock new cars. Anyway,
well done.
Oh.
You've gained access to City Slickers.
Oh, this is another. I guess if you gain enough of the little points, you can unlock new chapters.
City Slickers sounds like a WiiWare title.
Yeah, I don't want that chapter though. I want to go back to Proving Grounds. Anyway, I'm gonna complete this little chapter since I already kind of got halfway through it, and then that's where we end. Let's try Destruction Derby.
What prompted you to do a look at this game, for the record?
It just kind of, we were talking about it, and I just remember this was one of the main Xbox 360 games I played a lot of. This and one other racing game that we'll be looking at a little bit later.
Gotcha.
And so if I want to talk about what I think the game does right, I think the way that you can hold up to 3 items at any time, and they have a button that's dedicated to swapping between the items, so you can actually select which ones you want to use when. It's not like Mario Kart where you're just kind of locked into having something or another thing. What else? Okay, so for this, I'm going to go first person so I can aim a bit better. I'm going to try and go for each of these little needlers. One is enough to destroy a car, and the point of Destruction Derby is you add on time if you destroy cars. So I want to try and keep destroying as much as I can. Although the further I go, if I shoot them once, they'll actually shoot out a retaliation bolt back at me, so I have to be careful. Anyway, what was I saying? So
not saying a lot of
other things that
yet.
Yeah, I have to catch up to them. Other things I think the game does well. There's one. Other things I think the game does well is I think that I like that with some of these weapons they have a little more variety to when you throw them forward or back. The bananas and the stuff is pretty fun in Mario Kart, but one thing in particular I kind of think is cool is the green power-up is basically this equivalent of the game's equivalent of a mushroom. And yeah,
I'm just thinking if you took out the car ambience from your end, this perspective just makes you look like the single fastest FPS protagonist ever.
I can do this. I can catch him.
Just add a gun. Just add a hand with a gun on the right side, and yeah, it would look exactly like that.
Yeah, when I jump up that when I jump up that ramp, add the Serious Sam.
Yeah,
leaping up in the air. Anyway, so another thing. So anyway, back to the mushroom thing I was talking about is one thing I think is cool with the way that handles forward and reverse launching is that if I hold back and activate it, what happens is that my car, you'll see my car will it'll brake on a dime, but it allows me to rotate my car in place, and then I'll boost in that direction after a small delay.
So that just sounds like something that would really only be useful if, say, you've pretty much taken a really bad turn, and you just need
it can be.
Which, I mean, honestly, when it comes to racers, I honestly almost rarely ever have that happen. So
another cool use of it though is that if you do it right in front of somebody, you can cause them to rear end you. But when you do that, you get a shield. So you can basically have somebody get totaled by hitting you because you stopped right in front of them.
So basically, you're using them as like a meat shield.
Yeah, you basically become a brick wall, and then you can boost right on the head. I don't know. It's I'll show it off a bit. But at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, I agree with you in that, first off, this game's advertising was very much me, look at me, we're going to be the Mario Kart for the big boys.
And, pretty much. And, well, I mean, it's sad to think that the advertisements are really all I remember of this game, because otherwise it just came and went.
And you only remember them because they parodied Mario Kart.
Pretty much, yeah.
Honestly, even then, I don't even remember the commercial. Like, I think I got a vague idea of what it's like, but aside from that, nothing.
I'll find a few later. Also, the red homing missiles are basically your red shells. But yeah, I'm trying to think. There we go. Oh, shoot. Too far.
Yeah,
that again. So, no, it's okay. They just put me right back in the middle of it. Also, 20 racers is... Anyway,
That's just... That's... big whoop. F-Zero can get away with 30.
True. So... I like the idea, though. I like the idea of basically having different power-ups and different cars, even though I can't even say, yes, it's so unique to see a game with realistic cars, because frickin' Mario Kart added realistic cars later.
Yeah. Frickin' Chevrolets and all that. Or not Chevrolet, what?
BMWs?
No, it was, what was the name of the company that helped sponsor
Ford?
Mario Kart 8? No, I don't think it was Ford. It was some...
I think it was
Nissan.
Maybe a Nissan.
But
Hold on, let me check.
Go for it.
To Mario Kart 8 Wiki!
There we go. But otherwise, yeah, I may have been remembering this game through rose-tinted glasses.
Now that we're just thinking that, it's like,
Luigi, where are you? Oh, I'm just polishing up our Nissan Rogue.
What? So, I don't know, like...
Okay, it wasn't Nissan, it was Mercedes-Benz.
Oh,
Mercedes, okay, thank you.
Whee!
But yeah, it's like... But at the same time, I was saying, like, yeah, it could be that I'm just... It could be that I'm misremembering this game. I'm okay. I'm okay. But,
Honestly,
I mean, yeah,
it's kind of sad that these things can pretty much wipe out so easily.
Yeah. Okay, this is the part where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna break and let them catch up a little bit.
I want this to be fun, damn it.
This is the part where you just stop and decide to just look around and say, hey, look, there's a deer. Oh, there's a little fawn next to it.
Reminder, this is meant to be a racing game, and that's what I'm doing to keep it interesting for myself at the moment.
Oh, look, is that a flock of geese?
Oh, look, it's breaching the waves. And it get that, but at the same, we have one more lap at least. This is like a Rainbow Road kind of thing.
Admittedly, it's kind of funny to think that Activision released this game, and well, it didn't really do much for the industry, and now we got freaking Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel, and how much of a big deal that's been for better or worse.
Yeah, well, for a while for better, for a while for worse. But yeah, just going back to what the joke Logan made, just because of the voice he did, oh boy, devil name. Just because of the voice that Logan used for it, now I'm just thinking like, oh look, there's Waluigi. Oh, he got hit by a car.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. But in short, I think I probably was remembering this game through rose-tinted glasses. Because I didn't. But I remember playing it with multiplayer with friends, and it was a bit more exciting than the single-player
stuff. Isn't that kind of the case with kart racers in general?
Yeah. So, but realistically, let them catch up a little bit more. Okay. Now let's go.
Oh,
that seems fair.
Why is it lost?
That seems fair.
No. Is that a black hole coming right for me?
Oh jeez. But at the same time, like, get out of the way, please. That's the shunt. It allows me to do a giant shockwave around.
I'm sure they're completely intact.
There are some ideas, like I do like the shunt power up, and I do like the reverse boost power up. There are some parts of it that I think would be cool. There are some things that I would like to see in other games. I wouldn't mind if Mario Kart added another new item or something in the next game.
Well, speaking of which, I'm just wondering when the heck they're going to start releasing Mario Kart 4. Because that's pretty much had its beta done like ages ago, and there hasn't been.
Yeah, I thought that was supposed to come out this summer.
Maybe.
Well,
I guess my own explanation is that like maybe they want to either do a little bit more testing, or they want to like add in some new stuff to go along with the launch.
Or they might be restructuring it after how much of a stink that Dr. Mario World made with all its microtransaction bullshit.
There's also
Fair. That. And yeah, there was an example of how I can use the boost to like, turn myself on a dime real quick. Uh-oh. Yeah, but again, the fact that Blue Thunder Blue Thunder lightning ability is the main way. I think that's where this thing fails. Is that blue lightning ability that is supposed to be this game's blue shell. That it spawns in front of the person in first place, but I can repair. I have a shield that can block it easily. I can dodge it. There really is no definitive equalizer like the blue shell.
Well, to be fair, the blue shell at least has that super horn.
That's true.
Which is also something you can only get once in a blue moon.
Right, in the back of the pack. But that's the thing. Like, there is no balancing. By the way, I completed all the 4 qualifying things I needed to do. So now I can do a one-on-one race with the boss of this area.
And
if I win this boss, I'll actually get an upgrade to one of my power-ups I use. So let's do it. I'll even get her a cool weird car.
Huh.
You'll also earn lights for your
and it looks like her boost is normally get 3 bolts, she gets 4.
Real quick, that announcer woman, would you mind Googling her real quick, Logan? Because I swear she sounds so familiar.
Alright, but yeah, so meanwhile we're gonna do this big boss battle. So I don't know, like, the fact that there's no balancing, there's no scaling of items, because whether you're in first place or last place, you'll be getting the exact same items as everyone else, because there's no RNG, there's no slot machine, you just pick it up.
Right.
Oh, there was a Ferris wheel. The circus is in town.
Oh, so, boy, too bad we're gonna have to miss it.
Oh, wow. So with that said, there's no way that I would just avoid, power-ups. I'll just get them anyway. But you see where it comes. You can
just say that Blur it just goes for a more, or maybe not so much more, but a far less of a luck-based method to item manipulation.
It could be. So this is cool. Oh, this is cool. The music was done by a band called The Crystal Method. I've heard of them. The person that we're listening to right now, the person we're fighting against right now, is Shannon. Apparently her name, well, it says that it's Shannon, but I really don't think this is her or not, but it says that a voice actress on this game was Natalie Lander.
That sounds familiar. I think I might have heard her in something else. I'd have to... let me check.
Let me look up any other voice actors for this. Give me a second. Okay. So, while I'm looking this up, I'm finding absolutely nothing for this game. This game is super obscure, I guess.
Super obscure and not all that memorable.
By the way, this is still the boss battle, and she's currently half a lap behind me.
It just goes to show that if you know what you're doing, you're just gonna. I mean, would you say it gets so bad that you might end up overlapping her?
No, because this track is only 2 laps long, and you are limited to using one car against her.
Okay, from what I can tell, I don't know how many people are fans of Saint Rose, but in the Saint Rose series, she's the voice of a character named Kinsey.
Never heard of it. So, otherwise, yeah, there she is right now. I'm currently halfway through this lap after her. But again, this game needed tweak. I heard there was a patch. I just didn't. I know there was a patch, but I didn't patch the software before I played it. So maybe that would have helped tool up the AI a bit. But
okay, now I think I know where she is. She's the person that voices Stargirl in Justice League Action.
Okay, still haven't played it, but fair enough. But yeah, otherwise, what did you guys think looking at this?
I mean, okay. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The only thing that was memorable about this game was the commercial. And that's about it.
Yeah, because it dared to take a stand against something that we liked in the classic Sega Nintendo days.
Pretty much.
Because Crash totally didn't beat them to the punch in that regard.
Congratulations. You've taken down your first
But I guess
champion.
that there's the proof then, and that the proof being that if you're gonna talk tall, you gotta have the stones to back it up.
Right.
Otherwise you kind of get a more. Again, I see what they were going for. Just it needed more to it.
It's just the age-old thing of go big or go home, and this thing, well, pretty much went home.
Yeah.
Never to look back.
Again, I wouldn't mind seeing another game do something. I would not mind seeing another, cool, crazy car racer, because I like gimmick racers. I don't like just plain Forza or one of those games where it's just a car and a track. I like having, cool, wacky things happening, like using power-ups, or as you'll see in the next game, another thing that I show off. Like, I like stuff like that. But,
I mean, I don't mind the occasional racer that tries to be a little more realistic, but I kind of appreciate a little more flair to it, or something that doesn't feel like just something you've seen everywhere else. Like, I don't know, something like Ridge Racer or Outrun. I don't know. Just, yeah, this didn't really appeal to me in the slightest.
Yeah. So, with that said, I promise the next one we'll look at will be far more exciting. And honestly, I think now I definitely played a lot, and I now am happy to say that the next game that we're looking at was definitely not the one that I was looking at through rose-tinted glasses.
Fair enough. Till next time, everybody.
Bye.
Wah, wah, wah.